These articles contain tentative, amateur translations of small parts of Billy Meiers' work. The gods of the earth were human. And the book of books, the book of truth, the word of truth is given, and this is wholly sufficient to reveal the teaching of the truth for any who are willing to make and to bear the effort of learning through their own power. The Plierin, the advanced extraterrestrial people who have, for decades, been in contact with Swiss man Edward Meier, have provided us with hundreds of daytime photos of their spacecraft, metal samples, prophetically accurate information, wise commentary and dire warnings concerning current world affairs, which has attracted much interest and controversy in certain circles. These same people have also facilitated the coming into being of the Book of Truth, the retransmitted, unfalsified, universal spiritual teachings, delivered in words understandable to earth humans. This Book of Truth is called the OM. This is the book of the laws and directives of creation, laid out and explained with understandable words. This is the book of knowledge of the creational laws and directives, as it is given in words and sense through the Ishwish and the prophets of the earthly humankind. I can't start to do justice to the OM or the other historically profound material produced by Billy Meier under the guidance of the Plierin, most of which is still only published in the German language. But considering the extraordinary importance of the message contained within these books and the massive disinformation from without that continues to obscure it, and considering Earth humanity's dire need for genuine teachings of wisdom, I do feel obliged to try to point to some of the main messages they contain. There hopefully, more of us can begin to understand what is here, and we can get on with the job of exploring it with all its implications. The teaching in OM is profound, intelligent, thorough, clear and infinitely loving. The tone is reverential, confronting, stern, wise, and admonishing. OM begins by making clear the role of those who are delivering it. We are left in no doubt that the Ishwish king of wisdom and the prophet are only highly evolved human teachers who are obliged to help us. We should never, ever worship them as we had been wrongly led to do in the past. OM begins with clear explanations of the nature and role of the Ishwish. A canon is also devoted to clarifications about how God is not creation and how the gods were people who came from the stars and misrepresented themselves as creators. OM explains the relationship between the Ishwish and the prophet, the nature and role of the prophet and his relationship to earth humanity. It tells us that these prophets and Ishwishes emerge as helpers and carry out their functions according to the laws and directives of creation. They explain why we need the OM. The earth human's sense of effort towards seeking the truth has disappeared. He has lost the inclination to seek the truth through his inherent power of thinking, searching and recognizing. Therefore he has wandered into the erroneous form of thinking, that he will only accept as true that which he can touch with his hands and that he can see with his eyes and that he can hear with his ears. But this is the false, purely material way, which mocks and scorns any effort of self-thinking, self-feeling, self-searching, self-seeking and self-recognition of every solution and truth. Therefore through this, the way to the searching for the truth, and the finding of the truth, is not provided. And so, through the Ishwish and the prophets, no signs, or only sparse signs, should be given, that testify to the truth. The word of truth is given, and this is wholly sufficient to reveal the teaching of the truth for any who are willing to make and to bear the effort of learning through their own power. And the Ishwish is a human of knowledge and wisdom, and so is the prophet, to whom would be revealed, by the Ishwish every now and then, the instructions in word and text that he has to further give to, and with which he must instruct, the humankind with whom he is associated. There are references in OM about the repeated corruption of the teachings over the millennia and the role of the prophets who have come time and time again to correct this situation. The truth of the truthful knowledge was taught to the earthly humankind since ancient times and already given to Adam. The human races and peoples of earth were provided prophets from ancient days, and for this reason were sent to earth Enoch, and Elijah, Isaiah, Jesiah, Jeremiah, Shmuel and Mohammed in direct succession and with ensuing rebirth, next to Johannes and Elias and Hiob and all hosts of other upstanding and righteous ones, as they also were Buddha, Zoroaster and Babachi and others. They were all selected and led and sent partly through the Ishwish and partly through themselves and in knowledge and ability as prophets or spirit leaders to the humankind and peoples of the earth. Yet all were slandered and persecuted, and their teachings and their words of truth were falsified in lack of understanding or hate, and so wrongly leading and false religions and sects have come into being. OM was written down by Billy Meier between 10th May 1983 and 9th October 1984. Published in 1988, OM is described as the Book of Books and as Billy's greatest work. Its over 455 A4 pages comprise 77 canons. Each canon contains a number of verses being a multiple of 7. The parts of OM which, we are told, were in the and written down by Enoch, were delivered by player and leader, Ishwish Patha, by telepathic means. Patha has been among those who have also visited Billy Meier in person many times and verbally relayed information that way too, the results of which can be read in the volumes of published contact notes. Ancient proverbs of wisdom, some rhyming, were reproduced through Billy's own efforts, and, apart from sections which are the words of Meier, the daughter of the Ishwish, all remaining teachings, proverbs, explanations and clarifications come from Billy, who is the New Age prophet. The OM introduction explains that OM is often presented in Old German, as it was in the earliest times, as well as other languages. Some words that may appear to be errors are not, but are actually long-forgotten ancient versions of words. It is important to be aware of the advice from Meier and his associates that the German language more faithfully relays the meaning of the teachings than does English or other earth languages. Many German words do not have counterparts in other languages. The German language stems from the Old Lyrian language, which was once spoken on earth, and so the German more accurately preserves the meaning and should also be displayed alongside any translation for this reason, among others. The following excerpt from the English language FIGU publication, 49 questions, explains the word OM. OMAUM in Sanskrit is an ancient word derived from the Old Lyrian language, which was long since lost on earth. The actual meaning of the acronym OM is disclosed when the full significance of both letters are revealed by an explanation of the two words whose first letters are the O and the M fall on Murado. When abridged as O and M, these two words fall on Murado possess the identical, indeed, and even greater tonal harmony significance that when the two are fully pronounced as fall on Murado. For this reason, the abbreviation M was used and became the traditional form.